Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Six Figure Developer Channel. It is Live Stream Live Coding Wednesday, where we work on personal projects and chat with the crowd and stare at spinning, color-changing Firefoxes.
Because why not?
We're here every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live broadcast of the podcast and 8 p.m. Eastern for the live coding live stream Wednesdays, working on personal projects. If there's something you would like to see or have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. With that, I think we are working on what was once dubbed Blazor Game Engine, a port of Mono Game in Blazor. This is Clayton's project. So Clayton, you want to catch us up and tell us where we are, where we left off, and what we're working on?
Yep. We definitely gave up on the mono game thing. However, it is still Blazor Game, which is a WebGL-based game engine framework, whatever you want to call it, for Blazor. And when we finished last time, we finally got this rotating Firefox to correctly draw the texture, and then we also applied a color multiply to the image so we can tint the image to be whatever we want to, which is a common thing that happens in at least 2D gaming. So the next thing that we want to do, right now we're drawing in clip space, so let me scroll up so I can get the right numbers. Okay, so +1 would be at the top, -1 would be at the bottom, -1 would be on the left, and +1 would be on the right. And so all of our values are between a +1 and a -1, and that's what's positioning the square. Technically, we have zoomed the virtual camera out a little bit, and we are on a +2, -2 drawing space, but it's still the same weird drawing space, and we'd rather have, for 2D anyway, we'd rather have pixel-based coordinates, because those would just make more sense in a 2D environment than clip space does. So, if anyone who wants to follow along, there is this document, and somewhere around halfway down or so, there is instructions for converting from clip space to pixel space or screen space. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. One of the things that I did in the interim, in between since the last time we worked on this, is I updated the website so that it full screens the game, as it were, and I also pulled the screen-based code, the code that controls the virtual camera. I pulled that into its own function instead of being done every time that we go to draw an image. That's both a performance optimization, and it separates that code so that we can isolate it and do different things rather than always the same hard-coded thing. It is still the same hard-coded thing, but we could modify it or pass in values to get whatever we want. And this is where we're setting that up. So some of this will probably change, but let's see what they have in their tutorial. I'll go ahead and move it onto the screen so that people can sort of see what I'm talking about. We need to go into the shaders, so we need to go to the vertex shader and modify it thusly, adding a resolution uniform, and then doing a calculation to adjust the +1, -1 over to actual pixels. So let's find the shader, the 2D shader for the vertex, and it is right here. Okay, so among the other things that we have, so they have a position, and that would be vertex position here, and then they also have a resolution, but it's a uniform, so we'll just add it down here. 2, vec 2. I'm going to stick with the naming convention that we already have as opposed to the one that they are using. So U resolution, and then down here we need to somewhere the +2, -2 is being used. I need to find out where that is. I think it's in the I think it must be in the other initialization code, but pixels to 0.0 to 1.0. It's the first thing that we need to do. Equals a vertex position divided by the resolution. Okay, that seems fairly straightforward. Ah, I wish that this had actual syntax highlighting and stuff. Like if only it could understand that this is another language.
And Long Boolean's here. Freaking Ward is here.
Freaking Ward.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone.
Oh, yes. Revenge of the 5th for some. Zero to 1 times 2.0. So all we're doing with this second line is we're taking the first value, which was a 0 to 1, and we're making it a 0 to 2. Presumably, that's to take care of the... Yeah. In the next line, we'll use the 0 to 2 value to take care of the negative clip space and make everything positive. So that'll work. I do have some question because right now we have these view models, or these model, or these matrices, and I believe they are probably what is converting or what is setting our clip space. So we might have to deal with that. Like they might get removed altogether. If this code works the way that I think it works. Convert from 0 to 2 to -1, +1, which is our clip space. Back to well, I guess we're sort of going the opposite direction that I was saying that we were going, but... Okay, so I'm going to comment this line out. It doesn't appear that we're actually going to be using those matrices. They might get pulled into the fold again later on, because if we have a virtual camera, then the virtual camera could move within the clip space, and then we would still need to map that modified clip space somehow to draw things where we intended them to be, but we're going to be drawing them based on pixels. So, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Until then, I'm just going to leave the original GL position commented out. GL position, and that's just going to equal a new vec4 of the clip space from 0 to 1. Or, well, the clip space and then 0 and 1. I don't know. And we'll just leave those there, I guess. Okay, so those are all output things. Okay, and we have this texture coordinate. Okay, it doesn't look like we're doing any calculations with that, so it should be fine. Okay. So now we need to go and we need to consume, or populate rather, this resolution value. Okay. So we need to go to our... Where are we doing those? I think that's when we set up the... Because we have this... Where'd it go? Register game, initialize... Program info. I think that's where we're doing things. Yes. Okay, so we have a new one of these, so we can say resolution. Oh, it's a uniform. It wouldn't be there. It would be down here. Use sampler. When did I add that? I don't remember use sampler at all. That's gotta be in the... I can't see what anybody's saying, if anybody's saying anything. John and Ash are just being quiet.
Yep.
You're welcome. Yeah, Long Bullion is saying that not a lot of the editors handle syntax changes in large multi-line strings like that.
I feel like that's a failure on the editors. I think that they should do it. Sampler, uniform sampler. The sampler is used in drawing the texture, and that's it. Okay, whatever. Good to know, I guess. Okay, I don't know where I was. Let me just go back. There we go. Okay, so we have the resolution. Get uniform location, yeah. Resolution. Why is this? Yeah, all the places. Sure. Probably changed it in the string. It did. Stupid. Yep. And then... Jeez. Okay. I'm going to assume all the rest of it's fine. Okay, so now we have the resolution. And then... They're not making it... Okay, they make a pixel change, which we'll go do in here in a second. Use the program. Set the resolution. GL uniform 2, resolution location, GL canvas width, GL canvas height. So we need to do that at some point. We might as well do it in init. No. Init camera. Seems like a reasonable place to do that. Sure. Well, and these things aren't going to be used now, so they don't even matter. I'm just going to do it right here, and then... And then it would be this dot buffers dot, or no, not buffers, program info. What is it named? Uniform locations. Resolution. Yeesh. .gl. Canvas width and canvas height. Okay, so that should set that. I think that all of this is now pointless.
Perfect. Delete it all. Start over.
No, because there's no tests, so I'm afraid to delete anything. Unless I literally delete it all, then everything's fine. Okay, so we need to go to where init camera is being called, which is in the init, and we need to make sure that we're not doing anything special with the value that comes out of init camera. Right here, this dot camera. So where is this being used? Camera equals null. This dot camera. Yep, and then. Okay, so. Okay, but that's no big deal because that's just populating the things that we aren't going to use right now. So we can just do that. Yeah, and that looks to be all that they really do.
So I'm just a little bit lost.
That's fine. I'm a lot lost. What's up?
So I understand what our attempt is to make this conversion from clip space to screen space.
Right.
Right. And so what is staying in screen space and what is staying in clip space?
Okay, so after the change works or is working, then this new rectangle here in our draw, where we're just hard code making a rectangle, it will be in screen space, so pixels. In the shader, that will get translated into clip space so that it can be drawn. We don't yet have a camera, so we're just viewing the world like straight up.
So
yeah,
what we're trying to work on is getting these to be all positives.
Right. So if I said 1010, 50, 100, right? Then I should get a rectangle that starts 10 pixels in from the. Okay, so.
Yep.
The way that most game engines work is 0y is. No, wait, hold on. It'll either be at the top or the bottom, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sure.
Like, positive in the y direction should be up if everything is working the way that I think we would want it to work. So 0, 0 would be the bottom left corner. So we want it 10 in from the bottom, 10 up from the bottom, or 10 in from the left, 10 up from the bottom, and then 50 wide or 50 tall and 100 the other way.
Okay. And so what we're doing is what we are translating there in the.
Oh, well, this is okay. Actually, top left. So top would be, let's say, 50. Left would be 10. Bottom would be 10. and then 100. Right? The top left of it should be the bottom left would be 1010. The top right would be 5100. That's what I want. Anyway, this will get less confusing once we build helper methods to actually call this hard, this raw method.
So what you've done so far is you have the conversion that you're making in the, what is that? The shader code, or the what?
Oh, and it's trying to rotate. Like, all kinds of weird stuff's going on. Hold on. I need to. Okay, hold on. The rectangle. It all gets weird now because we've changed to the screen position, but I think all of our stuff is based on other weird things. So, okay. If this was going to work the way mentally that I want it to work, right? You would define the size of the rectangle, right? So it would be a rectangle that started at 0, 0 and goes to 5100, right? So it's 50 wide, it's 100 tall, or is that the? No, it's 50 tall, 100 wide. And then you would have a point, and that point would be the location, the starting location of that thing, like the top left of that thing. So this would be, we want it to be 60 from 0 because it's 50 tall. Or no, let's do 1010, and we're just gonna assume that 0, 0 is actually the top left.
Okay.
Don't know. I want to make my own point. I don't want to use the system drawing point thing. Okay. And then the color is fine. Cube is fine. We actually don't want a rotation. So where we're animating the rotation, we would just comment that out. And the rotation is nothing. 0. No rotation. We actually don't want any of this stuff to happen right now. We just want to draw a Firefox.
We do want rect color, don't we? No, never mind.
It's defined.
Never mind.
It has a default value. It's just not.
It's white.
Right. Okay, and cube is the name of the image. It's our reference to the image. Okay, so I need a point. I apologize to everybody out there because it's been a long week and I don't know.
You're about to delete it all. You delete it all and start over.
You really want that, don't you?
I figure it's about time. We're about to.
Okay, so we have public.
Correct. Exactly. That's right. Nailed it.
Stop it. No, float X, float Y.
I would be right there too, so no worries.
What's that? What? Float X, float Y. That feels kind of weird, but whatever. Okay. There. Now we can go back here. Fine. That's all recognized. However, this is now broken because we have rectangle, point, rectangle, color rectangle. Okay, fine, fine. All right. Yeah. So now I go here, and we go to our load shader, init, create, init, end of file. Where's draw? I think we're in it. Oh, look, there's more stuff that we're not using. That we're not using, right? Yeah. Set the drawing position to the identity point, which is the center of the screen. We're not going to do that. I have a feeling I'm going to have to go and re-examine.
Yep.
These are based on the object, so that shouldn't matter. And then that is only partially right. Oh, look, rotation's not being used now because we're not using the... That was here. So we are going to need to use that somehow. That's fine. Okay, so that's that. Const point equals Blazor platform dot struct. I'm probably gonna have to go back and make this like an actual struct, aren't I? Base address 16, and then const xpos equals, not that, platform read float field, and then this would be point 0. Y position point 4, and then this would be
20.
20, and then that's fine, and then this would be plus
84.
No, it'd be 88.
Why?
Or I think I did this wrong. This would be 24.
Oh, that's 24. Yep. Okay. Yep.
And then this would be 88.
88.
Math is hard.
And then
And
92.
92. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go change point to a struct because that stuff matters. Okay. Hello. What? Make it go away. Okay.
Missing a semicolon.
Lies. Where?
No, I messed it up. Sorry. No, my mistake.
Okay. What's mad about? Why you mad, bro? You shouldn't be mad now. Look. Rectangle. Point. Rectangles.
Well, what does it say? Doesn't contain a constructor.
Oh, I guess right. Yes. I closed it. There we go. Okay, good. That's all fine and dandy. But now I don't know what changes to make to this. Okay. Let me look at the master plan. Okay, so they've got this function here, which we can maximificate. Can you no? Okay. Program position attribute. All right, we've got one of those. Resolution, we've got one of those. Position buffer, fine. Bind buffer to position buffer. Here's the positions. These are the things that just draw it. They do have more positions than us, but it's basically 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and that's the one triangle, and then they draw the second triangle individually as well. WebGL utils, resize canvas to display, don't care about that. GL viewport, pretty sure we've already gotten that. We've already got clear, use program, enable, vertex, attrib, array. Okay. Position buffer, size 2, GL float. Okay, so they're just reading in the points for the rectangle. Uniform, resolution, canvas width, canvas height. Primitive types, triangles, offset, draw. I mean, they're really not doing much.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why you split up your rectangle to
Well, but okay, so
the way you did it.
yeah, because
So one thing you could do if you're going to do it that way.
Mentally, that's the way that all I need to do is say this plus xpos.
Right, but what I was going to point. Well,
What's up? Go ahead. I'm just
yeah,
typing.
yeah, you can do that. So I was just going to say if you're going to pass in the position or the point as a separate value, then you don't need right, bottom, top, left. But right, bottom, top, left, and those all like mean different things now, right? You could only, like, if you have a rectangle, you could just have the width and height, right? And then you're passing in the point, which like nails it to what point.
Right. And
whereas like right, left, bottom, and top, and from a positional value,
well, yeah, because it's always 0, 0. Yeah.
so you so you can either leave it with the position included in, or you can take the position out.
Right. So like, okay, so this could be Y position. This would be X position. This would be height. And this would be width. And then we can take that out. And then
Yes.
take that to 16. Take that to 80. And take that to 84. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then I don't know what this stuff should be. Okay, so right, I should have paid attention to that. It was top left, bottom right. So right is width. So the width would be the, well,
Yeah, X position
X
plus the
position
width.
plus width, yeah. The bottom would be the Y position plus height.
Yep.
The left would be the X position. And then
Top is Y position. Yeah. Yep.
there. Okay. Well,
I think
okay.
that's right.
So, all right. So we bind the positions, right, which should now be screen space positions. I'll go and fix the other bit here in a second.
Yeah, I understand.
Float 32 array positions. Yeah, static colors. Yes, that should still be working. Colors, okay. The texture, technically the texture should still be working. Our rotation is no longer working, but that's fine. So we're telling two components, normalize, position, vertex position, components, normalize, try to offset, vertex position. Okay, I need to compare that to... What was I using? Was I using this? Yes. Okay, so they have it going to the position attribute location, which is their A position, not vertex position. And we have a... Oh, okay, never mind. We have a vertex position, and that's what we're using for the calculations here. So that is the correct thing. Yeah. Okay, so a vertex position, because it's an attribute. Yep, so everything should be based off of that. WebGL, how to pull out the colors from the color buffer. Vertex color, fine. Texture, okay. Use this program. Activate the texture, bind the texture. Whatever that does. Well, draws the arrays. Okay, in theory, that's doing what they're doing, pretty much, I think.
All right, so we just need to pull out the point here, and
Yeah, we need to remove the point.
so why does the texture not need to be updated?
What do you mean? So the texture is mapped onto the triangular or the polygon surface. So it should just stretch.
I see.
Is what should happen.
Okay.
Okay, so this would we'd go back to what we wanted, which would be a position of 1010 with a width of 100 and a height of 50, and all.
You have to rename those things later.
Yeah. Color, the rotation is not being taken into account. Does that get us anything?
It, 404?
It does not. Yeah, that's for Bootstrap. I don't care about
Oh,
Bootstrap.
okay.
I love it when a plan comes together and all the
It's blue.
stuff disappears. Okay. What is it that we are missing? Okay, we'll just have to go through. On the bright side, we can actually just simplify what we have, and we should actually be able to narrow it down to pretty much what they have. So this code all works. We know that that works. So that's the positions. Okay, so they come in and they create the shader, and then they get their position and they get their resolution. We're doing that. They create the position buffer, which we've already done that. It's in our buffers here. They bind the buffer as an array buffer, right? So we're doing that. And then they define the positions. We're doing it a little higher up, and we are doing a different type of position than what they're doing. They've got their, this is like their top left. That's their bottom left. And then they have their top right. I think I've got that backwards. It's like the left top, the right top. Anyway, I'm going to try switching this to the coordinates that they're using.
Don't
Yeah.
do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'll just. What if we just use theirs directly,
Yeah.
hard coded in, and make it work?
Okay, so that's the ones that they're using. And then right after that, they are doing buffer data, array, buffer, float 32 positions, static draw. Fine, we're doing that. They do not have this color stuff going on, and they don't have this texture stuff going on. So we'll just comment those out. Okay. The next thing that they have is they resize the canvas. We're not doing that, so we don't care. They've got the viewport and the clear, which we have elsewhere. Let me double check that viewport call though. Load init. Must be higher up. Clear. Read color, clear depth, enable depth, clear. Ooh, maybe I don't have viewport. I don't have viewport anywhere. I wonder if that is significant. Let's see. It's just 0, canvas width, canvas height. Oh. Well, look at that. See, now that sort of makes me wonder. Okay, anyway. We're going to do that in the camera init is where we're going to do that. And it's before...
Long Boolean knew it all along.
Well, of course.
Just been messing with you.
GL viewport 0, canvas width, canvas height. Okay, we're gonna keep checking just because. Okay, so now we've got that set up. We're gonna clear. We're gonna use the shader program. Do we need to set this before the shader program? I think that we probably should. I'm going to leave it there, and then we'll set it in the init before the shaders are initialized. And then we can always
Move it out. Try it.
yeah, if it works, then we'll put it into the camera init and see if it still works. But I don't want to, like try it and then have that question hanging over my head. Okay, enable vertex attrib, which we are doing in the init somewhere, init buffers, I think. No, we're not. Are we doing it in the draw code at all? Oh, here we go. We're doing it. Enable vertex attrib, position attribute location, vertex attrib array, position attribute, vertex position. Yeah, so there, doing it there. And then, oh no, wait, hold on. Enable vertex attrib array. That's interesting. We're doing it after they're doing it before. I mean, it was working before, so
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think the viewport was a huge.
Yeah. I agree.
Because it was like it's only drawing on like -1 to 1, right? Now we're drawing inside of like 10 to 100. Like or was it 0 to 260? Yeah. So like,
yeah, quite. Oh, there's use program. There's GL viewport. So
it could have been way off screen, basically.
I guarantee you we can move that into a knit camera. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Active texture. We want to comment out. Bind texture. Okay. Hey now. What is that? What did I do? Bookmark it? I don't know how to get rid of that. It's right here. Minus. Yeah. I didn't mean to bookmark it. I meant to comment it out. Sampler. We're not doing the sampler if we're not doing the texture.
You might want to.
And then we're leaving that part because that is this down here. Primitive type. Triangles. And that, yeah, primitive type. We have triangle strip.
For this being a Blazor game engine, we spend a lot of time in JavaScript.
Right? Sorry. I mean, that's life. You know what?
Wait.
I'm gonna copy paste this line and then put.
I thought
triangles.
You didn't have to write JavaScript anymore. Just Blazor, yeah.
Turns out if you need to use a JavaScript library, you still have to write JavaScript. Okay, we've basically replaced all of the code to do a thing. Yeah, no.
That works.
Yeah, works. It works beautiful.
Hey, look, the top of my screen there's a line.
It's not my fault that you're weird. There, you happy?
Unlikely.
We missed something. What did we miss?
There's this like black element in between the two of us, Joe.
No, that's on purpose.
Oh, the separator is like
Social distancing.
There we go.
Okay. Everything is broken. Nothing's working.
It's not 10:30 yet.
No. We're building up. We won't get it working until 10:30. It's fine. Okay. We're literally not hardly doing anything now. We're manually setting positions. We double checked those two lines. Those are the same.
Oh, did you pull in their code for drawing? Because you pulled their coordinates.
What do you mean?
Since they were doing drawing arrays, print of type, all that sort of jazz.
That's this down here.
Yeah, did you do the same thing that they did, or?
4. I did a vertex 4, and it needs to be 6. I think their offset's still 0. Count as 6.
Okay.
Triangles was a different. We were doing a triangle strip.
Yeah.
Okay, 6.
I don't know if that
Let me
makes
try
sense.
6. Well, 6. I mean, it's yeah. It would make a difference. I mean, not much of one.
Not much of one. It looks pretty similar.
I mean, there's always the possibility that I completely missed some other stuff because I was trying to fly through and just get this working. Let's see. So here they have this, but that's in the clip space, and then here. So they went. Oh, look, attribute. It's a vec 2 instead of a vec 4.
Uh-huh.
And I bet we didn't change that. So that would have an effect.
Yeah, I can't believe you'd use a vec 4 there.
I know.
Clearly it should have been a vec 2.
I'm a heathen.
I mean,
Okay. I mean, let's just see if that'd be crazy if that worked. Oh, good.
it worked as well as before.
No complaints though, so the code is running. It's just, not doing anything. Okay, so what else we got? Next, we added a uniform called uResolution. To set that, we need to look up its location. And they're using GL get uniform location, which that's what we were doing in the shader program here. Right, so uniform get uniform location, shader program, uResolution.
Yeah, this is getting the resolution of the screen, right?
Yeah, well, it's providing the resolution of the screen
To the shader.
width and height to the shader. Next, we can change our position values from clip space to pixels. This time, we're going to draw a rectangle made from 2 triangles, 3 points each. Why would they just randomly change that? Were they doing triangles? They just went from a triangle to a rectangle, I guess. Okay, and after we set which program,
It's just one more point.
well, it's
Not
2
if
more.
you can only draw triangles.
Yeah, it's 2 more points. Because you've got to repeat 2 points.
Right.
Okay, and then after use program, they're doing this uniform 2F resolution, canvas width, canvas height. And we're doing that. Should be too far down. Oh. We are not. It wasn't there and I commented it out, did I?
Hey, CLW's raiding us with a party of 15.
Woohoo!
Well, welcome, Raiders. I'm not sure if we have ads that they may or may not be hearing us yet, so we'll wait until maybe
think
those go on through.
I think we might.
Good to see you. What
no,
were you
not
working
that.
on? I think we were actually hosting your stream before we started going. So I saw you had a toboggan on or a sock cap or something, working on something.
Use program. Transform 2F. I feel like I typed this already. Oh, I did this in the camera in it.
Fighting with Twitch's API. That always sounds fun.
It's almost as fun as writing WebGL.
Yeah, we this is
We
Live
did it
Coding Live
here.
Wednesday here on the Six Figure Developer Channel. I am John Calloway. That is John Ash in the middle, and Clayton Hunt is the one driving. We are currently working on personal projects. We work on personal projects every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. And this is Clayton's personal project, Blazor Game Engine. It started its life off as a port of Monogame and Blazor. He's rewritten it a couple of times so far, and no longer looks anything like Monogame.
That's right. Now it makes a blue screen.
Now it makes a boost.
So progress is being made. Pizza does sound good. Can you order me some pizza, please? Actually, we had ribs earlier. My wife made some ribs on the smoker. It's good stuff.
That sounds pretty good.
I had Paschetti.
So did I.
Look at you, like 2,000 miles apart, and you're still eating the same stuff.
I
With
really want
Alfredo.
to know what is now different, because pretty much everything is...
CLW, what kind of pizza you getting us? Slowly re-implementing all the features of a C64. We have a blue screen so far. Nice.
It wouldn't be too far off from what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, let's check order of operations. So,
Meat lovers pizza. I could be on board with that.
alright, as it sits, we initialize.
Thanks for the follow, Sean P. Pence and Mary Jo Stabler. Hope I pronounced that right.
Okay.
Pronounced something.
So
Words. Long days.
we
So what-
initialize, we get the WebGL context. I have WebGL 2, but if you use a WebGL 1 shader, then it just downgrades you. So even though that is a difference, it shouldn't matter. But you know what? It's, you know,
So to let people know what we're trying to do, we actually had this spinning a Firefox label and tinting it, but it's in the what was it? What kind of coordinate system?
clip space.
Clip space, yes. So we are in clip space, which means that left is -1, top is +1, right is +1, and bottom is -1. And what we're trying to switch to is screen space or pixel space, so that we kind of follow that. And so that's where we're trying to simplify, first off, all of the code that we have, and make a conversion following this tutorial here.
And before,
this-
before the raid, I was mentioning too that we spend a lot of time in JavaScript when we're working on a Blazor game.
You know. Okay, so
And so far we've basically reduced the functionality. today.
but that blue screen.
But the blue screen is beautiful. It is a beautiful flower blue.
It does take some intelligence and some effort to simplificate to that degree.
Yes.
Position, resolution, we're getting those. Those are in the shader program info.
Thanks for the follow, Mr. Blade Brown Jr.
We have a position buffer right there. We are binding the buffer. We are defining the positions before we bind the buffer, but I mean, that doesn't. I guarantee that doesn't matter.
So right now, what Clayton's going through is looking at each one of all of their code and just seeing to make sure that we're following the same order of operations and doing something that's basically the same.
Yeah. So.
Are we still on a different branch? We're still on the WebGL reboot or WebGL 2?
Yes.
WebGL reboot. Okay.
WebGL reboot, yeah. Okay, so we have bind buffer, array buffer, right there. And we're binding to our position buffer, same as them. We just have ours stored somewhere else. We've got the positions, which I copy pasted. So if it's not the same, blame Microsoft. And then we have the buffer data, GL array buffer, new float 32 with the positions, and then a static draw. Check.
Oh, no featured chat.
What?
You broke it.
I didn't. It wasn't me. Sorry.
Thanks for the follow, X90.
Long Bullion, I think that's an excellent suggestion. Everybody get your phones out. Okay, so the next thing is this. They have this WebGL utils resize canvas to display size. I'm using CSS to do that, so that is automatic. I don't have to mess with that. And then they are setting the viewport. And then they are clearing. So we are also setting the viewport and clearing, but we're doing it before all of this junk happens. Then use program, and that is here.
Before all, yeah. Oh, okay.
And then enable vertex attrib array, which is here. So technically, they're setting this stuff up after use program. I don't know that matters, but just in case, we can set that right here. All right. Use program, use vertex attrib, or enable vertex attrib array, which we're doing here. And we are doing it after we've set up all of this stuff. I mean, in all honesty, this stuff was working to draw the square before.
Yep.
But that was in clip space. The only thing we're trying to do is change the space, the coordinate system that we're using. So I don't know why things that they were perfectly functional and don't involve messing with the values that we're trying to manipulate should matter. Now this is using the vertex position, which happens to be one of the values that we're manipulating, or that we changed with the changes to the shader. But I don't know why that would have, like, the order of operations, if it worked before, I don't know why it wouldn't continue to work. And then they have the uniform 2F, which is right here. This.gl uniform 2F. And then they have the resolution. So this .program info uniform location resolutions. Canvas.
Just curious.
Width. Yep.
Why
Canvas
do we enter into these blocks? Like,
Oh, it's to isolate. So like const num components equals 4.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and
yeah.
const
Okay.
num components equals 2.
Got it.
They're like little tiny functions in a way.
Yep.
And then they have primitive type triangles. Offset of 0, count of 6. Offset 0, count 6. And then we're just typing in triangles instead of using a variable to hold that value. The code is so close to what they have that I can't see that being the issue. Like it's so much so that I'm gonna roll it back, because the only significant change that we made was the shader change, and then that trickled into all the things.
Right.
And that clearly,
I love that you're calling 10,000 Control Z's rolling it back.
yeah, that's what you do when you don't get commit before you start working. What planet are you from?
Let that be a lesson to you, folks.
I mean, you know, I did this
Make sure it works first, right?
earlier. Yep. What?
Nope. He just rolled with it. I said, make sure it works first.
It's so not gonna because of this.
Yeah, you
so,
have all kinds of
negative one comma
F.
Details.
F. Negative 1 F 1 F 1 F, something like that.
Yep.
Hey, everybody gets a demo. It's like we just started.
And then whoa, no, because
no. See, it's sitting there. It's doing a thing.
And then comment out all the C
Sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, which is exactly what it should be doing, with all this stuff commented out.
Now it'll rotate and tint.
I mean, maybe.
You know it makes for good TV.
Okay, so this is what we started with, which is quite a bit further along than we just were after making some changes. I want to get this into screen space, so let's take it a little bit slower.
Now you're supposed to commit.
If you like this, folks, be sure to like and subscribe. We fumble over this and other personal projects every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we will be back Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live broadcast of the podcast.
Yep. Okay, it's there. It's working again. Okay, so if we go and we look at the code that they have written, not here, but in the shader. Right now. Okay, so all they're doing is they're taking the position and they're taking the resolution, and so the position was a vec4, but they're taking a vec2 and a vec2, and then they're creating a vec4 from those.
A vec is width, right?
A vector. So, what?
It's French. It's width, right?
Oh, I don't French. Oui, no. I don't. That's all. I don't know anything more than that.
Yeah, and so when they cat the 0 to 1, they're basically taking the position and dividing it by the resolution.
Yeah. So here's my thought process. If I take, where am I? If I take the position that I have, which is a vec4.
Yep.
2 of these coordinates. So you have X, Y, Z, and W. The Z and the W are not being used. So they're just extra. And so if I emulate this part of what they've done, all of this, but then I treat this vec4 as the vertex position for this calculation, I think that I could technically change less of my code. I think. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a vec2. And then down here, so here they have the vec2 that is the clip space. No.
Yes.
So Echo Strike 36 says, I normally listen to the podcast. This is my first time hearing any of you at 1 time speed. I usually listen at 2.5 myself, and when I hear those that I listen to speak normally, it's really weird. So I apologize.
I also apologize that I sound dumb now that I'm not speaking really fast. It could also be the WebGL.
It's all the JavaScript. It's
okay. So
I probably sounded dumb at two times speed, anyways.
Okay, so the first change that I'm gonna make is I'm gonna change the input to a vec2, and then I'm going to convert the vec2 to a vec4 artificially, and then I want to get the same render that we currently have, without changing anything else.
Yep. No, that sounds good. So you converted the A vertex position to a vec2.
Yeah.
And now you need to convert.
So if I say vec4 position equals vec4, and then it would be a vertex position, and then let's just assume that the values that they're using are correct. Because I don't know.
Big assumption.
And then we just swap out vertex position with a vertex position. Now, we might have to change some of the code elsewhere, but fingers crossed, nothing should have changed just now. You know what we didn't do earlier that maybe we should have done while we were making all those tests?
commit.
I'm thinking disable cache and refresh.
Oh.
But hey, my theory, she's a working. Okay, so that's something. Sweet.
Okay, so now we should be able to do their conversion.
Maybe.
Right?
So it's a uniform vec2 resolution.
In chat, if you've got any questions or comments or want to heckle Clayton as he types, feel free to drop a line in chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. We're on the eastern side of the United States. Clayton and I are down in the Tampa, Florida area. Ash is up in Columbus, Ohio. Where are you joining us from?
You know, places. Okay, so we want to add... Yeah, we just want to add it. So, resolution. And then resolution.
And what this is doing is it's passing the resolution of the screen into our shader program so that we can then take that and normalize the values that we're getting. So if it's 100, we need to normalize that down to like a 0 to 1 or -1 to 0 value.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to do that, divide it by the resolution. So if it was at the furthest x coordinate, we would divide by the max, divided by the max x coordinate, it would be a 1.
I mean, you're the one that knows the math, so.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, so I've created this this input that we can do. So where they're setting the value of that is they get it, and then down here. So here we're setting the resolution. So we need to do that. I feel like this should just be able to be done in the init camera. There's no reason that can't be done in an init camera. And we've already got... Oh no, because we reversed everything. But now we're not getting rid of this stuff. Now we're just adding that piece. So this dot gl dot... What is it? Yeah, let's slide it over so I can see it. Type. Uniform 2F, and then this dot program info, uniform locations, resolution, canvas width, canvas height. Okay, so that should set it up. And there's no reason for that to change because this value is not going to change unless we reset the size of the game. So this now basically becomes a constant. Okay, so that sets that value. As far as I can see, nothing else that they're doing is affected by this change. They have the points that they update from clip space to pixel space, or screen space, and then they have these changes that they make in the shader. So I'm just scrolling up to the shader. I'm not actually going to change the shader yet. We're going to do this. And we still have that. And if I hate that. Refresh. Okay, I haven't broken anything yet.
There's still time.
It's only 9:25, so.
Right. Okay, so now we need to do this change. We need to calculate these values. I'm not going to apply them yet, but we're gonna calculate them.
Okay. Yeah, so here's where we're normalizing the pixels.
A vertex
I think.
position.
Hold on, maybe I made a mistake.
Divided by
Yes.
U resolution.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're converting it.
We're converting it from like a 50 pixels down to what is the value between 0 and 1 that it is.
Right, we're getting like how percentage-wise, how far is this across the screen?
Correct.
And then we need to convert that. We need to multiply that by 2, which then gives
Right.
us a range between 0 and 2. And then we subtract 1, which then gives us basically clip space.
Yeah, because our 0 right now is in the center of the screen, so we have to multiply by 2 so that we can shift it over.
Zero to 2, 0 to 1 times 2.0. And then, the last thing that we're doing is actually then shifting it back to -1 to 1. So we should have effectively converted our pixel-based vertex position to a -1-to-1 clip space coordinate or position.
Correct.
And then we have position. And position. I would change this to clips. Oh, no, I gotta do it. Hold on.
Yeah, you still have
I'm getting ahead of myself. Vec to clip space. Okay, and then I would change a vertex position to clip space, and then that would basically be the final straw that would change this.
Yep. And we should be able to do that.
So if I do that, so
And
right now we're drawing from -1-to-1, and
Right.
-1-to-1, or -1 to 1-1. If we change this, then only that very first pixel is going to get populated,
That's correct.
which I doubt we'd be able to see.
That's correct.
So,
Although we could multiply in our coordinate system, our coordinates that come in, we could change it, run it, and then like multiply it by say 100 or something like that. Every single value.
yeah.
And that
Okay.
might blow it up.
But that all worked up to this point. So everything
Yes.
is still functional. Clip space, and if I run it, then what we expect to see is nothing. Maybe 1 pixel, right?
Correct. To disable cache, but it looks like it went ahead and still pulled it in properly anyways. So we don't see it. Can you see it? I can't.
Can't see a darn thing.
So if we go back to our code,
Here's an option though. Let's assume before we change the code, right? So if it's -1-to-1, and that's based on the percentages, and then we're converting that to. We're now saying, oh, that's actually the pixels. If we had a 4x4 canvas, then that 1 pixel would be a quarter of the screen. So,
Okay.
and that's a much easier change to make than, because I can just say 4 and 4.
okay.
When in doubt, just scale everything up.
Scale
Be
it
all right.
way the heck up. Yeah. Scale the living daylights out of it. And we should have a very large, and we don't. So, I'm curious,
So
is there a way to get an output from the shader?
before we do anything more, could we try one other thing?
WebGL. Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I would go back to your demo and then or to change the width and the height back of the, and then go to the where we actually set the point values.
Yeah, that's.
And then just multiply every single one by. No, not in here. Go to in the JavaScript where we have the array that defines the rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
And then
That's why them's green?
why not green? If we just multiply each one of those by 100.
So then, in theory, we should have a
It actually might be
100 to 100.
Yeah. Maybe we want to add 100 to it or something like that instead, but I don't know. No, never mind. That wouldn't work.
I'm good with this.
Give that a shot.
Let's see what happens.
It should be actually off the screen, half off the screen.
Yeah.
But we got nothing. Okay.
And let me disable
Interesting.
cache. Yeah, nothing. Which is I want to see if there's a way to I didn't close it, did I?
That was fun. I lost internet.
Oh,
Welcome back.
oh yeah. Okay, here we go. If I can output.
Were they upgrading you again?
Obviously.
If I can just get shader log info shader. But how do you stuff in things? That's unhelpful.
Is there a way? So we with the resolution we pass it in. Is there a way to pass it back out?
I can output
To, like pull it out.
I can output the values that I am receiving, and I can probably. That is.
What's
annoying.
going on with your
I don't know here.
syntax highlighting?
I think it's just confused.
It's Visual Studio being Visual Studio.
Yeah, there. See, I close it and open and everything's fine. So. It's in the init camera.
Yeah. So Echo Strike
If we go
36.
here after this, I could probably say console log resolution and then this dot program info resolution, and I don't know what this is gonna do at all, so
Yeah, so Echo Strike 36, what we're trying to do is get the values out of the shader, not the values that are in JavaScript.
Yep, it's completely useless. Oh, look. Location not for current program. Invalid operation uniform 2F. Aha. See.
Okay, so what?
Okay, so we're missing that before. That's important. That means that the resolution we're passing in is like 0, 0. Because we were
and that
unable
would
to
be a
set
problem.
it. That
That
would
would be a total problem.
would be a problem. So, is use program something that we need to concern ourselves with? Okay. Let me do this and then do this and say this.gl.use program this dot program info. Oh, what's the thing? We're doing it. Where are we doing it? We're doing it. Where are we doing that? Are we doing it? Clear color. Oh, we got to be doing it somewhere. There it is. We're doing it here. I'll bet we don't have to do it here. I'll bet we can do it anywhere. So I'm gonna say when we initialize the shader, that we're gonna go ahead and use that program. And then take this out of here. And then I feel, well, no. That is feel like that is still part of... That's connected to the shader. It's part of initializing the shader and getting all that stuff working.
I agree.
Whereas the camera is the viewport, which is based off of the matrix transformations that I broke everything.
You broke it.
Oh, this is here. Nope. What broke? I don't get it. Graphics context razor line 32. Initialization. Okay. All right. It doesn't like doing that there. One of these at least.
What did we just change? I don't even understand. I thought we just moved.
We moved those two lines to right there. So here we're initializing.
Move them back.
Oh! Yeah, no, yeah. I know what happened. Don't worry about it. We can still do those there. We just have to do them differently. Create shader. So the reason why that blew up is because we're accessing program info, but that's not a thing yet.
Yeah.
So it would be, yeah, shader program. And then it would be, okay. Var equals
Oh, some formatting got messed up, but
doesn't it always? Stop it. Okay, fine. Be that way. You go there. Okay. So now instead of this dot program info, it would just be program info. And that part would be the same. And then save.
Do you still need to return program info from that?
Shut your mouth.
We talking about Shaft?
hey,
I mean, that's something.
Stuff is happening. I don't know what it is, but it's happening.
well, so the rotation is off.
Right, because we're not translating the point of rotation.
Correct.
What makes you say that? It's also spinning at different speeds on Twitch.
What are you talking about? Okay. All right. This is progress. It actually showed up.
Yes.
So that's a thing. It does appear to be not the right shape.
Yes.
Correct.
And
but we can deal
I
with that in a
also
second.
would have not expected it to be centered in the screen either.
Well, it's not.
Oh, that's true.
But let's go here. All right, so there's that, and then if we remove our funky animation stuff, yeah, there we go. So now we'll find out where it is actually showing up and whether or not it's upside down or not.
Right.
Okay. So
That's
the reason
something.
the reason that it's like that is because of Where'd it go? Nope.
Also, apparently, when my internet went out and I came back, Ash and I switched places.
So we're still doing this. Is part of the problem.
Yes. Yes.
Long Boolean says translating, then rotating.
Well, so we
Need to
modified
rotate and then translate.
we modified the position artificially here, and then
Right.
I think we're using the position again later on for
Right.
some of the other stuff. So
now if we put it in there, it will be, if we run it now, it'll be really tiny. But you should
yes.
try your
See, it disappeared.
yeah, but you should try your method to scale up the,
Oh, to like make everything stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid small.
make it exactly. Huh. I don't know why that didn't work. Well.
Whatever.
All right, let's go back to,
We know that it rendered something at
Yes.
at 100. So
yes.
we
You
we
make sure
come
you
in
change
here
your
and we can
screen
say,
size, or your
oh yeah.
change that back.
Well, and I bet this is why it was distorted.
Probably. Yep.
800, 600, and we were doing a 1-to-1 thing.
Yes.
So okay, so we come back into here, and now we can say that we want it to be, we want it to be 10 from the top, 10 from the left, and we want it to be, 50 tall and 50 wide.
It's a square rectangular.
So now that we've got that, if we go to Blazor Game JS, then we are doing an artificial translation here, right? So top becomes Y position.
Before you do, I guess that works. I was gonna say, before you do all that, would you just want to like
Commit.
no.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna rename these, and then I'm not gonna change what's down here. And
okay.
Then I'll run it.
That way we can just test to make sure that's working.
Make sure it's doing some.
Right. We should at least see a square here because we're.
And we do.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're probably still wondering, why in the world is it so tiny, and why in the world is it so far from the edge?
Right.
And that is because of the matrix translations that we're doing.
I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you asked it earlier, so
It was a good question.
I just knew you were going to ask it again. So it's because of the matrix translations that we're doing. Remember I said earlier that clip space is supposed to be from -1 to 1, but our clip space was actually -2 to 2. And that's because of the matrix translations that we're doing on the, I think it's the projection. So we'll go and fix those to be closer to the 1 to 1 instead of the 2 to 2, and that basically we're zoomed way out.
You're a matrix translation on the projection.
Beat me to it. I need to stop wearing the shirt. It's see-through.
I like it. Okay, but it's
Is that a Twitch guidelines thing? I think.
yeah. So that is something though, which is better than nothing. So this is the width. So then it would be the this would be the X position plus the width.
Yes.
The height would be the Y position.
I am leaving the shirt
Plus
on.
the height.
Long Boolean.
The X position is the X position. The height is the Y position plus the height. X position plus the width. And let's see what that does. I'm assuming it'll make it bigger, but not as much as we,
Not
or not at all
much.
perceivable. I mean, I guess it would have only made it 10 pixels bigger in both directions. So yeah, probably not super noticeable.
We could
Seeing as
bump
how
up our
we're zoomed
pixel
halfway
size.
out, so it would have been 5 pixels. So okay, so now we need to go and find the matrix projection that I was just talking about.
I was gonna say 4 pixels, but
So it is this. No, that's
Hot Tub Time Machine. What?
yeah. Model view matrix, destination matrix, model view matrix, matrix to translate, amount to translate. Here's the zoom. So if we change that to a 0, and so this is the axis to rotate around. So that was that. So actually, this wouldn't be 0, 0. This would be our
Center of our
center point of the
Yes.
rectangle, and then a
which
a
would be
1
now.
for the z-axis.
So, is this axis rotation in coordinate space, or is it in the?
It's in clip space, so we
so
would
it
actually
would be
need to.
0.5 and 0.5.
Well, we would need to change it to screen space as
Oh,
well.
okay. I guess that's more what I was asking. Was like, is it expecting clip space?
Yeah, it is currently in clips. Both of these, I believe, are clip space calculations, because if we go and look at the shader, we did convert position to screen space, but we did not convert the projection matrix or the model view matrix.
Okay, so which we can leave it. We can leave those if we wanted, but
Yeah, the projection matrix, I believe, is like our camera. So
I see.
if we translate the projection matrix, then we would translate the camera, either zoomed out, zoomed in, up, down, left, right, whatever.
Echo Strike has a question. I'm thinking about trying TDD. Do you think it would be easier to start TDD on the front end, Angular, or back end, Spring Boot first?
Spring, like Java?
That's my assumption.
If it's Java, then I would think that would be easier than Angular. Not that the Angular TDD with Jasmine or Mocha or one of the 1,000 libraries that you could use is super difficult, but it is more confusing because of the 1,000 libraries that you could use. I think that Angular by default uses Jasmine, because Jasmine was created as part of the original Angular project. And it's not hard to pick up, but I think Java would be simpler.
Yeah, I think a truly typed language. I like the guard it gives you, as opposed to TypeScript in Angular, which Clayton has some opinions on that. Clayton has some opinions on a lot of things.
It's what
So
I do.
We'll see if we can get him started.
Okay, so now we don't see anything, right? And
Yep.
I think the
did
reason.
you want to disable cache and refresh?
Well, I mean, I can, but it's not going to change anything. I believe the reason that now that we don't see anything is because we are outside of the rendering distance of the z-axis. If we go, where is it? To the camera, init camera. So we can see Z near 0.01, Z far 100. So we were at, and I think these values are maybe reversed for the values that we would put into the matrix, because we're actually, when we translate away, we're translating in a positive direction away from the, it's weird. But anyway, so the clip distance is 0.01 close to the camera, and I moved us all the way to 0. So I think if I said 0, that we may actually start to render.
And with TDD, it's really just practice. So find a good kata, find a good project, find something to play around with. Just a quick Google search for, what did I search? Spring Boot TDD came up with looks like several good links for blog posts, Medium posts, Dev2 posts.
Where is the thing? Projection.
I also think that the things that you tend to have in an API backend tend to be lending themselves to test-driven development, so than the front end.
To truly testing business logic as opposed to also having to worry about UI
Yes.
concerns.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Closer. 1.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule there, but
Well, it's just more that you have to keep up with. Like, if you don't have to concern yourself with a UI while you're learning something or while you're exploring, experimenting.
That being said, the back end usually has some sort of data or whatever that you're dealing with, and that's a trouble, or can be. The persistent data of a database and dealing with test-driven development, and learning that how do you interface with that and how do you deal with that situation.
Okay. We can put the projection and the model view matrix back in a little bit, but I want to see what it looks like if I just do position. Which removes the whole camera aspect and everything, which is also sort of what we were doing earlier. Okay, boom.
Hey,
there
we
go.
have one at least like a square.
So we need to examine and consider those two matrix projections a bit more later.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What did you actually do here?
I just removed projection matrix and model view matrix from the the equation. So I think, all right, so let me leave that there for a second, and then I'll come in here and I will add back in the animations.
Okay.
The problem with test after is that if the code wasn't written with testability in mind, it can often be a chore to get it into a state of testability, something that can be tested, something that you can write tests for. And if you have to make modifications, you don't have the security of the tests to verify that it still does the things that it was supposed to do and doesn't do the things it wasn't supposed to do.
Also, why would you do all that extra work to test? I mean, it's working. not that,
Maybe.
you know, like, that may not be logically what you think in your head, but it's just so much more effort to write the tests after the code is already working that you will just not write as many or the same tests that you would have written if you do tests during development.
And inevitably, when I have conversations with folks that either haven't tried TDD or don't know what it is, or just don't have that same understanding, they're more equating it to testing, to automated testing, to quality assurance testing, something like that. Whereas TDD really is more about the design evolution of the application, evolving the architecture driven by the tests that you write. So you're worried about the behavior that you're trying to implement and using those tests to drive the architecture of the system.
I like it because I can also run my code a lot faster and simpler and quicker and debug more specifically. I don't have to launch the whole project for just to be able to run the little bit of code that I'm working on. So I'm only working on a small piece of it, only run a small piece of it, but I can still have the same debugging. I can still have the same execution, all of that sort of jazz, all while I'm. So that for me, it's like even a method of debugging and running. So
yeah, and going back to systems and wrapping them in. I think Ash, you said you were recently having to write some gold standard tests around some existing functionality that didn't have any tests around them, just to verify that it does the thing that we think it does.
Yep.
It does the things that we were told it does, and then from there you can start to refactor if you need to into a more testable state.
Yep. Yeah, and when I was doing that, so when I started refactoring or wrapping this gold standard unit test just here recently, the code I ran into it was calling out to the file system, so it hadn't been isolated away from the file system. So now that created a problem for actually testing it. So now it was no longer testable. So then I had to make modifications to the code to make it testable, which is not something I would want to have to do, right? I would rather, if that had been written with TDD from the beginning, then no one would have they would have had that isolation in there from the beginning. But and the isolation wasn't bad. It just, I had to use a little adapter pattern or whatever to isolate that out. But
so Clayton, you're just moving the box around the screen manually now, right?
No. So I just changed the position, modifying the clip space to basically invert it upside down, which then gives us the more familiar top left being the 0, 0. Side effect.
Long Boolean? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say long Boolean. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to bring it up in chat.
Absolutely.
It's a good conversation to have. So I'm happy to hear any and all opinions. So you move the origin, you said, Clayton.
Right. Move the origin. That had the wonderful side effect of flipping the Firefox upside down and backwards now. So we get the fun of playing with wherever it went with the texture coordinates again. I'm gonna do this. That. What's that do? Perfect.
Yep, perfect.
and then this and that.
I am curious as to what parts, if parts or all, you disagree with, and what the disagreement is, or what your thoughts are, because.
Okay, and then this.
It's a fun conversation.
That.
Is that right?
Man, I don't know.
I think the copyright is on the left. I think that's right.
Let's zoom in and find out. So all I got to do is draw it more bigger. How big is that picture? That's the real question.
The head of the fox should be on the left. The tail should be on the right.
You're not helping.
Well, show the image again.
Well, that's wrong.
Where is that image? download it, or are we like pointing to it?
Yeah, I think you think you did download it. No. It's in images?
Man, I don't know.
Or something. It was in
It's not that one. Oh, cube texture.
Cube texture.
Proper tower. Not helpful. There.
So we have it backwards. Or
Yeah, John was totally wrong. That's all right though. You know what? Because I know how to do that.
that's right. Yep. And then
Same thing here.
outside, inside. Yep.
All right. So in the future, well, here we do that, and then it puts it over there, right? And then in the future, if we need to do something like this again, I think it's just take the top two and put them on the bottom, or vice versa. And then yeah, so it's just swap the pairs, and then it does what we need. Okay, so that's there, right? And then if I was to go to the game demo, and if we were to say introduce variable, no, replace one occurrence, var y position, put poston
So close.
position. Quit trying to be smart. Exposition. Other create field. Uh-huh.
Do you not have resharper?
I don't know what you're talking about. Alright, equals 10. Alright, to get started. And then we'll just say, here we'll just say y, no, x position plus equal 0.1f, 0.01f, no, 0.1f times, no, elapsed time. Oh, you dingleberries. And then that's gonna get mad. Stop. Hammer time. Play. Okay, so we should see it move across the screen in the no.
Fair enough, long boolean.
There's that. What long boolean say?
It's a big discussion with a lot of underlying bits, much like setting up your coordinate system in GL. Explaining my TDD opinion would be long-winded to make sure, agree or not, that we both understand what the other is saying. I think fair enough.
No, it's gonna keep going.
I don't know what's happening on screen.
It's gone.
It moved.
I think my approach, and I think the others here share the same opinion, that we think, or at least I think, of TDD as a personal discipline. So
yes,
you can choose to do it, utilize it, use it, or not. It's up to you. If you see benefit in it and use it to benefit, cool, do it. If you don't and choose not to, or whatever the case may be, no skin off my nose.
Okay,
Agreed.
so I don't have a way to capture the screen bounds just yet, so I'm not dealing with that. But bada bing, bada boom.
I don't think that's rotating.
It's not.
Okay.
Rotation is something we're gonna have to do again later. But
How many more times?
It is moving.
Well, it's pretty close, but we have to figure out the coordinate.
Wow, how big
Scaling
is this
thing.
anyway? That's pretty
Business.
big, isn't it?
It is fairly large. I
Does it
think.
not say on the?
Isn't it in
course
the
not.
properties?
No.
No, height and width right there.
Where?
256 on your
256.
properties.
All right. So then if I say, well, let's do 128. There. Now it'll look a little bit better. Yay.
Bye bye.
Yep.
Oh.
I mean, I know the height, right? So I could say,
Ship it indeed.
yeah.
I mean, you're 2 minutes early, but you know.
Oh, dang. X speed.
Break it.
Break it. Break it so that we.
X speed times elapsed, and then
Wait, you didn't commit it or anything, right?
No,
Okay,
of course
good,
not.
Y position, Y speed times elapsed, right? And then we just do. We're getting into that funky physics that doesn't work. Okay, so we have
Oh, you're gonna make it bouncing around the screen.
private float X speed equals 0.1f.
Gonna make a screensaver for game. The Firefox. logo.
Right, and then we'll just sit here and wait until it hits the corner of the screen. Okay, and then down here we just say if X position greater than equal to 800,
Yep.
then X speed equals negative 0.1f. I'm not getting super fancy. If X position less than equal to 0, then X speed equals 0.1f. And then we copy and we paste and we change things to Y. Y. Y.
But why?
Y. Y. All right, so now it should theoretically bounce around the screen in a not super interesting way, but it'll do it. Oh, I need to right. No, I mean it's
Oh,
working.
yes.
It's
Yes,
working,
it's
but I
working.
need the offset.
Pretty
Yes.
sure I had this screensaver.
Firefox and everything.
Ish.
Okay, so now it really it's minus 128
Emergent gameplay.
and minus 128. So now it should work more better.
Yeah, so I wondered if we would want to set that position instead of it being like the top left-hand corner. If you wanted to make it like the center of the cube, but
Well, so that will technically be managed by the helper methods that will be calling
got it.
this function. This
Got
is
it,
just the
got
raw
it.
function. Put
This
it
is
here.
the raw function. Got
Don't
it.
ask any questions. Now this will handle the rotation based on Actually, I'll probably have a rotation point, and then you can rotate from wherever you want to.
And it'll rotate at about that point. Yeah.
Right. With 0, 0 being the top left of the square.
Yes.
Or rectangle or whatever. Once I figure out how to do rotation again in the screen space coordinate system as opposed to the clip space coordinate system. But all right, so we converted to screen space, and now we can move around the screen without having to figure out what's negative and positive and yada yada.
Yep. So this is getting pretty close for us to be able to do our block breaker
Again.
Yeah. What bothers me.
And since it is our stream, we will plug the podcast one more time and point the conversation or those interested in the TDD conversation. We had a great guest on, JB Rainsberger, for episode 152, talking about TDD and emergent design, and really fun episode. So if you haven't listened to it, or if you want to listen to it again, we would certainly love to have your feedback as well. Just leave us a comment. Tell us all the ways you disagree. Tell us what you liked, what you disliked. We'd love to hear from you. There's the link to the episode in chat.
So we're already less than 60 frames a second. So something that I've done is horribly non-performant. And I will have to go and find that out. But because we're only drawing one square, we should be able to draw a lot of squares. I mean, if you look at the demos that they have, and then they've got more stuff later on, but yay. Anyway, it is doing a thing. We've taken a step forward and a couple steps backwards.
Perfect.
Next time we work on this, we'll probably try to get the rotation to work again.
It is not currently broken, which is weird.
Right? Yeah, here's 2D translation and 2D rotation and scale and stuff. So, here.
It's the maze.
Do the maze one from Windows 98 next.
I kind of do want to get like the DVD image, and because we got the color rotation thing going on.
Good stuff. So we are at 15 minutes past the hour, and probably going to call it a night here. We will
push,
git, commit, push. Follow along in the GitHub repo. We'll post the GitHub repo once again for anybody that wants to follow along. Give Clayton a like and a star and a fork of the repo. Play around with it, improve it. He'll likely redo it at some point again, because that's just what he does.
As soon as web GPU is
But if you like this, we will be back next week at 8 p.m. Eastern for some more live coding, live streaming of personal projects. We will be back actually 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday for the live broadcast, live recording of the podcast. Normally 6 p.m. Eastern, but this coming Monday, our guest will be on at 5 p.m. Eastern. So we'd love to have you like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. Follow us on Twitter, Six Figure Dev. Subscribe to the podcast, do all the fun stuff. If you've got a Amazon Prime account, you can use that to subscribe here on Twitch as well. With that, we will say goodnight and raid our friend over at Fierce Kittens.
Good night. Oh, yep, I won.